You never really know what you're gonna find when you take a stroll down the beach, but sometimes the most unexpected things can wash ashore. A perfect example would be when 6 backpacks all filled with cocaine were found on the 20th of November in 2013 on a beach near Tokyo, Japan. The total value of the drugs came around to be about $70 million. In 2012, a softball-sized eyeball floated onto the sand in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. It was discovered by a man who kicked it about a few times before taking it home and putting it in his refrigerator to keep it fresh for the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission to retrieve and identify it. Naturally, rumors of colossal sea monsters started spreading throughout the area. Wildlife authorities quickly spoiled the fun by identifying the oversized oculus as belonging to a large swordfish. They noticed that there were also straight line cuts around the tissue, which means some weird fisherman cut out the eyeball and tossed it overboard. Ego Leonard. The Lego figure seen here with some of its buddies have washed up on several different beaches. They are 8-foot tall, 100-pound Lego men that have the text "No Real Than You Are" written on their torsos. The first Ego Leonard sighting was in 2007 when the colorful sculpture was retrieved from a sea near the Netherlands. The following year he was found on Brighton Beach in the United Kingdom, and in 2011 he also showed up at the Siesta Key Beach in Florida. And finally he made an appearance in 2012 at a Los Angeles, California beach. In 2007, residents of 2 Dutch North Sea islands were thrilled when thousands of unripe bananas swept onto their shores. They came from a container that had fallen off a cargo ship during a storm. Crowds of banana seekers showed up to gather the fruit, and in fact there were so many bananas littering the coastline that some suggested that they donate them to a nearby zoo. A 1990 storm tossed yet another container off a ship that put 60,000 Nike shoes into the ocean. Scientists have tracked these shoes for decades in an effort to learn more about the ocean's currents. The sneakers could float for 10 years, and surprisingly, they were still wearable after 3 years. Unfortunately, not all sneakers you find on the beach are as nice. This is especially true if you live in the British Columbia or the Pacific Northwest of the United States. Since 2007, beachgoers have found at least 10 shoes with feet broken off inside of them in these areas, and 5 of them were tracked back to 4 apparently deceased individuals. The identified feet are said to belong to several missing persons, a person who committed suicide, and someone who died of natural causes. Currently, no one knows to whom the other feet belong. On November 30th, 2006, in the Outer Banks of North Carolina, there was Doritos for everyone when another cargo container overturned. Thousands of packages of chips littered more than half a mile of otherwise pristine beach. People scrambled to gather bags for themselves while seagulls scavenged for the broken bags that were already opened. In Fort Bragg, California, people used a beach as a landfill site until 1967. There were some cars, household appliances, and a ton of glass. The area was cleaned many times, but the North Coast Water Quality Board couldn't fix the problem. Luckily, the ocean waves were there to help and turned all the glass particles into smooth glass pebbles. 57 love letters from World War II washed up in a box on the New Jersey shoreline during the aftermath of Hurricane Sandy in 2012. All of the letters were sent from Dorothy Fallon to Len Farham between 1942 and 1947, and when they were found, it received quite a lot of national attention. The Montauk Monster made its debut in 2008 on a beach in New York and has remained the subject of controversy ever since. Authorities could only view the creature via photographs, yet the pictures alone were enough for the East Hampton Natural Resources Department and multiple zoologists to quickly peg the thing as a dead, bloated, and decomposing raccoon. While some have claimed that the Montauk Monster's legs were too long to be those of a raccoon, zoologists have debunked the notion by explaining that raccoons' legs are surprisingly leggy, and that their limb proportions actually match those of the monster. Also, what many have called a beak is actually a defleshed snout and exposed premaxillary bones. Furthermore, composite pictures of a raccoon body and the Montauk Monster show a perfect match.